Today is Thursday, March 11th, 2021. This is the regular meeting of the Board of Fire Commissioners for Newcastle Fire District Number 1. It's approximately 7 p.m. and we're holding this meeting via Zoom. First business tonight, I would like to just let everyone know that we have a special guest, former Commissioner Oliveri is with us. And Tony, if you would, can you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Tony.
You're welcome.
And a moment of silence as we remember former Commissioner and Chief Douglas Hunter. Thank you. Second order of business is the resignation of Commissioner Oliveri. We received a letter from Tony on February 17th. He regretfully resigned due to the fact that he moved and there's residency requirements with respect to being a fire commissioner in the district. Therefore, the board was immediately notified. And, you know, having said that, Tony, I've only known you for a few years now. You've been exceedingly professional and civil with me, and you've been a great friend. I wish you farewell and following seas. And I'd ask you just to stay on tonight for this meeting.
I will.
Anybody else?
Yeah,
Tony,
I have to say I've learned a lot from Tony. I'm sorry to see him leave us, but I understand what the requirements are, and I certainly wish him the very best of luck, and we hope to see him back fairly often.
Yep. Don't worry, I'm not leaving.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other comments for Tony?
yeah, Tony,
Yes,
thank you for your service. You know how I feel.
I know you do. I know what I understand. Yep. It's hard to leave, but you know, I have to move on.
Yeah.
But I'll be around though. I'll be helping.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Paul.
thank
Second order of business is recognizing former Commissioner and Chief Douglas Hunter. I'm just going to read something short. On February 28th, the board learned of the passing of a former commissioner. I will paraphrase from the Chapel Fire Department's announcement. It was with profound sadness that we announced and recognized the passing of former commissioner, former fire chief, and life member of 70+ years, Douglas Hunter. As a district, department, community, and as his friends, we are all better for having known him. He will be greatly missed. His passing creates a void in our district, department, community that cannot be filled. So at this time, I would ask any board member for any remembrances of Douglas Hunter.
Well, I only met him once at his 90th birthday party, and I have to say, after meeting him, I was thoroughly impressed with him. And I'm, of course, sorry to hear of his passing.
I just want to say that I knew Doug almost 60 years. I remember him when he was a Newcastle police officer, and I grew up knowing him as a police, and Brian did too. And when I got on the board, I took over trucks. He was handling trucks and communication, and I took his place. And I thanked him for, he taught me a lot when I came on. So I'm going to miss him a lot.
I'm sorry that Tony and Brian had so much contact with the criminal justice system growing up. I've known Mr. Hunter since I was about 7 years old.
Yep.
He was a patron. He was a mentor. He was a protector, and just an all-around nice guy and a dedicated public servant, both as a civil servant and as a volunteer.
He was.
So having said that, and forgive me, I think that we should have concluded with the first order of business. Sorry, Brian.
That's right.
Why don't we proceed back to order number 1 or number 4 on the agenda?
With deep regrets, I'd like to accept Tony's resignation.
Do we have a second on that?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Reluctantly.
Thank you,
I
Tony.
You're welcome. Thanks.
And if it's right at this time, I also would like to nominate Dwight Smith to fulfill Tony's term.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Do we have a discussion at all? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I can't vote, right?
No, you can't.
Not now, you're done.
Okay. I mean, I can go to sleep? No.
Oh,
Pamela, please invite the new commissioner in, please.
Will do.
Thank you.
Well, he needs to be sworn, but
He should be there now. He can unmute himself and
He'll
he can
he'll
bring
be
on
a
his
guest
video.
tonight. Is that all right?
of course.
Okay.
There he is.
Hey, doing, Dwight?
Hi, all.
Hello, Dwight.
Howdy.
Welcome aboard. We're gonna have to get you sworn in downtown. And then it will be official, but you're welcome as our guest tonight. Congratulations.
No interaction with the police, huh? Oh, well.
nope, town clerk.
Oh.
Dwight, forgive me, but we were just having some remembrances of former Commissioner in Chief Douglas Hunter. Would you like to share anything about Douglas Hunter before we move on to the next item?
See, can you hear us? Dwight,
Hear
can you
Dwight?
hear us?
He might be frozen.
Yeah, he looks frozen, yeah.
Oh, there he is.
Back.
Dwight, are you back?
Yeah, my computer gave me the blue screen of death, so I'm back on the iPhone. Sorry.
No, that's fine. These things happen with
Yeah.
Zoom. Before you came on, we just had some remembrances of former Commissioner and Chief Douglas Hunter. Do you have anything that you would like to share with everyone?
I have known Doug for a good number of years, probably nearly the same as Tony and Brian and Chris. I've always found it quite heartening to see him around town. He's been a friend, a teacher, a mentor, a chief, a commissioner. I've known him for so many years. I can't even remember when I first bumped into him. And I ended up buying a piece of property from him even. I was very truly dismayed when I heard the news, and I never expected it. So I'm kind of at a loss for words, which is unusual for me, I'm afraid.
Thank you, Dwight. Thank you for those comments. So we're going to move on to a brief statement regarding public comment. Public comment will be held at the end of this meeting. Again, public comment will be held at the end of this meeting. Chief's report. You're up, Chief Maitland.
Okay, good. So again, I want to thank Commissioner Oliveri for his years of service. His knowledge should be institutionalized because it's invaluable. And I'm sure he'll share a lot of that with Dwight as we go along. But it's been a pleasure working with Tony. He does a phenomenal job.
Thank you, Russ.
You can count on him day in and day out, and that's what we look for. Okay. So new business, the trunk radio system. The new county trunk radio system, the majority of the radios have been installed in the apparatus. They're coming back tomorrow to finish the rescue. We have 3 vehicles which we did not get radios for that we kind of knew that we weren't. 2064, Utility 31, and 155. We're going to actually have to go out and purchase those. So we've already approved those purchases. You put them in the budget. I was hoping that we'd be able to finagle an extra radio out of the county, but that doesn't look like it's happening. So that's time sensitive because we're looking at September now, maybe the go live date. So we got to get it done. Getting the radio isn't the issue as much as it is getting on the schedule to get it installed, because every piece of fire apparatus in Westchester County is getting a radio installed. So there's 57 fire departments in Westchester times multiple pieces of apparatus. So we need to get that taken care of. We purchased the bailout systems that were approved already. They should be here quickly. Old business. And again, I'm looking at my sheet and it's a little kind of messed up.
Snow plowing.
What about the pagers?
What's that?
Pagers?
Snow plowing.
Pagers, I just got the quote for, it's on state contract. So I just actually have to go out and fill that out. The question I wanted to ask the board, Metrocom for 30 pagers wants $1,200 to engrave them and to program them. And for $100, I can go out and buy the equipment to program them, and the software is free. So for $120 with shipping, I can do that. I would like to get your permission to do that. And I don't think that we need them engraved. We could put a sticker on them, but we don't need to pay Metrocom $1,200 to do something we could do for nothing.
Agreed.
So if that's cool, I'll submit that as well with the purchase order. It's like a $100 cradle and a USB cable. So we'll take care of that and save some money there. Under old business, you guys have it. I had the snow plowing on there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Did we go out to bid for that?
that was all part of last year's.
Okay, so our bid contract, which I have a copy of, says that the parking lot at Bedford Road Firehouse will be plowed every 2 inches. That's in the
Yes.
contract. That's in the
Yeah.
contract. So we brought it up last month and said, hey, you didn't come after 12 inches or so. And you guys said you're going to take care of it. And then we had another snowstorm of 8 inches, and 6.5 inches fell for over 10 hours before he came back. So hopefully it won't snow anymore, but we kind of got to stick to that contract. They're getting paid a specific price to meet a certain benchmark that we put down in paper. We need to follow through on that. What else did I have under old business? Because it's not showing up on my phone right.
Cancer
Oh,
report.
cancer. You were going to check, Chris, to see if we actually submitted into the cancer registry.
Yeah, I don't know if we actually submitted to the cancer registry, but I did notice on the treasurer's report that we did have a payment for life insurance, cancer insurance of $6,400 and change. So it looks like we at least have that protection in place. I can talk about that more during insurance unless people want me to hit it now.
Nah, we can talk about it after because I got to get back to class, but you guys can follow up. But we still have to file.
Yeah, the report was due on January 1st of this year.
Right.
And I don't have any indication that went out.
So we'll cover that out. The other thing that I want to talk about on a new business that I missed was we have the new email server that's up on the Chappaqua Fire Department side. I know that you guys had a discussion about security of documents in the cloud and so forth. In discussions with our IT provider, the NCFD.1.1.org service can be moved onto that server, completely partitioned and separate from the CFD email, and then you'll have it actually backed up in the Exchange server without having to spend any money. And we figured out how to do it with 911 Webs. And not only will you be able to get it on your phone, but you'll also be able to get it through any web browser anywhere you are. You can just type in a particular address and it'll bring it back, and that's backed up as well on the overall server that we have upstairs. So if you like to do that, just let me know and I'll work it with Manny so that you get done.
Yeah,
And
you
then-
told me about that, and I told Sandra, so I think we're.
And then the
well,
other
more
thing
over.
is that I would, and that every single member of the board and the board staff have an NCFD.1 email address and only conduct business of the district on official business. There's a new discovery law that's out there that basically says is that if you use your personal phone, your personal computer, your personal email address, they can come take all your equipment and stuff, and that's potentially a problem, and it should be on district-owned equipment. So just a note to think about for that.
Agreed. Chief, you also had hydrants on your list.
Yep. So just giving you update that the hydrant situation, we still have gotten absolutely nothing back from the town as it relates to any of the ones that we have brought up. So
Let me just jump in there for a second, Chief. Sandra, let's get a meeting scheduled with the town. Myself, Commissioner Weddle, and Chief Maitland, please.
okay.
Thank you, Chief.
So I'm looking what else.
And when you say the town, are you talking about Ivy or are you talking about the head of DPW? Who are you talking about?
No,
Well, it went to Jill Shapiro.
Yeah.
And then from there, they take care of sending it out. So
Yeah, we would want to meet with Jill.
You have your expenditures, Chief, of water and
Yeah,
Gatorade for one. You got it?
hold on, let me see. So I got hydrants. I got the water and Gatorade for 144.25. I got drill refreshments for 75.28 for a total of 219.53. There were 18 alarms in February, which is pretty low number for us. That's okay. We could all use some rest. And future dates on the 21st of March, we have physicals and fit testing. And on the 23rd of April, we have hose testing.
Make a motion that we approve the expenses, reimburse the chief staff.
Second,
Second.
All right.
All
If
in
you guys
favor?
have nothing, if you have nothing else for me, I'm going to get back to class.
And I'd
Off you
like
go,
to-
and I see.
I got
Chief
one thing. I'd
Hydrants.
like to make a motion that Russell get the stuff for the pagers.
Yes, I agree. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you,
Russell?
guys.
Russell, could I just ask you who the vendor is for the trunked radio system update?
Well, it's a little convoluted, but Metrocom will give us a bill for the install on anything that the county didn't give us, but we purchased the radios directly from Motorola.
Motorola, okay.
So it's a little bit of a twofer. The
Okay.
bulk of it goes to Motorola, the install goes to Metrocom.
Okay, thank you.
Okay? Have a wonderful evening, guys.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
You
To
too.
us.
Leave us, Paul.
Treasurer's report, please.
Yes, hi, you all received the check register. We had $297,391 in payments this month, mainly because we paid our LoSAP payment to fund LoSAP, about $106,000, and we had our debt payments, which was our principal of $100 and interest of about $39,000. Any questions on that?
I do have some questions, but I can talk to you offline. Doesn't require any board action.
Okay. And the other things I see is old business and new business, so I'll hold off on comments until we get there.
Let me see. Do you want to tell us about the audit, or is that on? Oh, that's on old business. Okay. Next report, treasurer's report, please.
Done.
That was the
That
treasurer's
was
report.
it.
Excuse me,
I'd like to make a
secretary's
motion to
report.
accept the treasurer's report.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Brian.
Yep.
Secretary's report, please.
I provided Mike Wilbur of Emergency Vehicle Response with all the information that he needed regarding everything that has happened in the firehouse since they were last there. So he's got the information. I really want to thank former Commissioner Oliveri for his help. He gave me a lot of what I needed. So I was very appreciative of that. And I wish him well. I didn't say it at the time.
welcome.
Lastly, I did respond to Nancy Zessi's FOIL that was put in on February 28th.
Excellent. Was that completed? Did we satisfactorily? Did we answer everything that she requested, or were there things that we opted not to provide under the law?
What I did was everything that I was able to obtain with respect to her direct FOIL that came to me, and then all past notations going back several years. My efforts was to get all of that to Mr. Ligori, our attorney. He then put all of that together and then let me know what was supposed to be turned over to her and what was beyond the purview of her FOIL. So
Excellent.
I then followed all of his recommendations with a notation that everything else outside of that was not something that would be foiled. And there was also a notice that she had the right to object within 7 days.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Right. Well, thank you very much for all the hard work. And for those who don't know, this request goes back in part to 2018 or even further. And you did a great job putting it together. Thank you, Sandra. Anything else on your secretary's report?
That's all. Thank you.
I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to accept secretary's report.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Approval of minutes.
Thank you for getting them out so quickly.
Yes. They came out lightning fast. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
that.
Had no
Entertain a
comments.
motion?
I make a motion. Accept them.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Committee reports. Commissioner Hoy, that would be myself. Purchasing uniforms, turnout gear, medical, and physicals. I will get with the chief over the next couple of weeks and catch up on a couple of items. The chief did cover medical and physicals earlier, and there are some purchasing items that are coming up in the near future that I need to just refamiliarize myself with. Other than that, nothing to report. Commissioner Frank?
Okay, so I'm recommending, based upon Manny's recommendation for Sandra of a new laptop, he gave 3 choices. I looked into it. I believe the Dell XPS 15 laptop is the best choice, and a new 3-in-1 HP OfficeJet Pro printer. So the laptop is roughly in the neighborhood of $1,700. The printer is about $300. So I think Sandra should go ahead and order that, and I'm certainly available to help with any of the ordering.
I think they're on state contract, right?
On state contract?
I believe you can purchase them on state contract through Dell and HP.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll look into that with
Russell will know.
Oh, okay. We'll check it out then. So in reference to the addition to the building, we're going before the planning.
I'm sorry, can we go back for a second?
Sure.
Yeah, when I compared the 3 proposals that Manny came up with, the major distinction that I saw between them, and it was a significant difference in price, was the gigabytes. And if we're backing up to the cloud, do we necessarily need that much storage on the device itself?
That's a good point, but also the clarity of the display was another thing. So I think there were, I'd like her to have the best. So that's why I chose that.
No, so would I, Ed. Don't make you the bad guy. But I missed the display issue completely. But yeah, okay. So if that's what you think, I'm fine.
Yeah. So I looked into it, and I thought, I'd like her to have the best. So anyway.
Excuse me, Ed, before you move on to engineering and building, the chief made a fantastic offer for us to perhaps use a partition piece of his server. So we should look into that too in the near future.
Okay, we can do that. Good point. So anyway, in reference to Oak Lane, they are paying us. We're still waiting for their contractor to uncover the pipe. A certain survey has to be done. JMC is taking care of all that stuff. And Tuesday, I don't know if anybody else is interested, but our on April of, I think April 20th, our permit for the addition is running out. We have to look for another 6-month extension. Lynn Weinig wrote up a letter to the planning board, I think to Bob Kirkwood, and we're on the agenda. So Lynn's going to be at the meeting along with Joe Montefiore, myself. Anybody else who wants to join in certainly can. So of course, you know, we need to get an extension for 6 months. That's yet another one. And of course, there is an end date out there somewhere, I think maybe in 2022. So we certainly need to get this moving before that. So that's what I have so far.
Ed, just quickly, you indicated yourself and 2 others would be representing the fire district at the meeting?
Yes, Lynn Weinig, our attorney, and Joe Montefiore, our engineer.
Excellent. So I won't be attending that as the town liaison. You can handle that one.
Yeah, I can do that,
Yeah.
sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Next on the agenda, Commissioner Murphy, House.
Well, I had Vizinga come, he sealed and cleaned out the joints on the chimney and cleaned up the top, repaired it. But apparently that didn't stop the leak. I still have the leak. So I talked to Wayne Vizinga. He's gonna come down and try to point me in the right direction of who to hire or who to get to look at it and try to repair it. That's on the chimney. Then the boiler inspector was here. He told me I needed to get some vents on the furnaces replaced. I talked to Robertson, and it is, the price including material and labor is $800. That's for 2 relief valves, 4 air vents replacements. Then I have to send the inspector their report and the bill showing that it was done, and then he'll give me the certificate of being certified.
Do we have a hot water or steam system in that building?
It's hot water.
Oh, okay, yeah, so it costs so much because they have to drain the system. It's gonna take a while.
Yeah, that, and
Yeah.
they have to test the vents and stuff. Well, once they test them, they're no good.
Yeah.
But I gotta replace them, so.
Okay.
We don't have, there's no choice, right, Brian?
Yeah, there's no choice. That's the whole
Okay, so
thing. Because I asked him, when he came to inspect it, I said, "Oh, isn't that part of your job to inspect the vents?" "Oh, we can't do that anymore." I go, "Why?" He says, "Well, they gotta be replaced afterwards. We don't have that." I said, "Okay, thanks."
and what's the price?
$800.
Oh, okay, never mind. All right.
Is that it, Brian?
No, then I got the landscaper's contract. The only thing that changed is the price of the chemicals. As far as cutting and maintaining, it all stays the same, but it's just like the lawn stuff and those chemicals, the price is going up a little bit. That's the only change.
Hey, Brian, who are we using for snowplow?
Arm Tree, North Castle. Anybody wants to take on that snow plowing can go ahead and take it on.
Definitely not, but
Well, I'm done with it.
did we ever talk with him?
Yeah, I talked to him. Man was here. I'm not gonna argue with people.
I'm not arguing, I'm asking.
I say something?
I knew that was gonna annoy you, Tony. I just
No,
knew it.
I'm done. I'm finished. That's right. I'm former. So
Tony,
I can't-
you're a guest.
Okay.
Raise your hand.
Okay,
So are you gonna adopt the contract or sign it or?
Well, yeah, I'm gonna just sign it, send it off. Give us copies and send him the original, like I did last year. And I have to do the same thing with Robeson. I have to sign theirs and send it off to them to get them here to do the work.
Are we required to bid anything RFP?
Not for $800.
Not for $800.
No, it's not. No, it's for the
But the
landscape
landscaping?
services and Robeson as an oil company.
Well, Robeson is the service company and the oil company, and that's who takes care of the boiler. We have a contract for the service and the oil. This is above the service. This doesn't get included because it's different. He did come and service the boiler when I asked him why he didn't inspect it, but
Robin,
have
can I
parts.
ask a question, please?
yes.
Robin, are you suggesting that we need to go out to bid on the landscape and contract, yes or no?
There is a requirement that every few years you should prove to the public that you're hiring the best. You know, whether
Yes.
it's least expensive or the best service, whatever, but we do have a responsibility to do that on occasion. So I don't know when that was last done.
Once
Okay,
upon a
so-
time, we had 3-year contracts. I don't know what they are now. Brian, do you know?
I think it's 3. And I wonder if this was the 3rd year.
If so, then we need to RFP it.
So, can we take this one offline and we will determine exactly what we need to do?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Okay, thank you. Anything else, Commissioner Murphy?
No, that's it.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
I am going to request that our special guest tonight, former Commissioner Oliveri, give us a briefing on what he did between last meeting and February 17th,
Okay.
and anything else he might have done after the 17th.
Dwight has a copy of it also. But the Tower Ladder 27 had a little accident on Elm Street. On the fire truck, it bent the step, but Chief Russell banged it back, straightened it out pretty good. The car that was hit, I guess, was an employee of Westchester Tree. You know, they park on both sides, but they finally found out who the employee was, and I told him to get a price on repairing it, and he's supposed to get a price. I don't know. I don't think we have to go through insurance because there's not that much damage that Russell told me. I didn't see the car, so we're leaving it at that. He's supposed to get a price and get us the price of fixing it, and I guess Dwight should go from there. You know,
And I understand no one was hurt, correct, Tony?
no one was hurt.
No injuries, good.
No injuries. And we're gonna, I'll talk to Dwight about it, and we'll go from there. Utility 155, Ruscon fixed the charging system on it. It wasn't charging the equipment on the truck, and we found out there was 2 bad fuses, 30 amp fuses. They were on top of the batteries, so that was taken care of. Utility 31, the van was brought up to Vail, and it needed, they had to put all new injectors in it and spark plugs. So that was, I think it was around $2,800. So that was taken care of. The new utility, I called the dealership, and it's at the Reading Body Company. They're gonna put the body on and the lift gate. So hopefully it should be delivered sometime in this month, hoping everything goes well. And I'll help Dwight out on this too. I want to finish it, and Dwight will help me on it. Let's see. Car 2064, we purchased a trickle charger. It's at Center Street because we didn't want the battery to die. It's not being used enough. So I didn't say anything to Chief Russell if the car is going to be given to a deputy chief or not. So Dwight will, I'll tell Dwight to talk to Chief Russell on that. That's on trucks. Communications. Russell said all about the new radios and the pagers. The only thing is Dwight has the new antenna for the scanner for the firehouse. The only thing that he's going to talk to Brian about if we should put it on the chimney or mount it on the tower. So Brian and Dwight can handle that. That's it on communications.
Thank you, Tony, very much.
If I could just interrupt for 1 minute,
Sure.
I did forget one thing. Westchester Tree came, they trimmed those trees in the back for us and took down those, some of the other branches. They trimmed it all up and looks nice in the back now.
They send us a bill?
Yes, they did. Finally. Oh, I gave that in that they got paid today, so $1,000, I believe. Maybe a little more, but that's Bill.
Yeah, I know.
Again, Tony, thank you very much.
Thank you,
You're
Tom.
very welcome.
Commissioner Waddle, you're up. Insurance, please.
Yeah, I got a couple questions. The first is, we need to re-up our LoSAP. We're late on that. I understand from Robin, we sent in a check for $106,000 and change. But they need to know the name of our auditor. We're required to have an auditor for LoSAP. I do get the BST, formerly the Saks BST name, but does anybody know, do we have an independent auditor for LoSAP?
I do not know.
Tony, you know?
Chris, ask that again.
Do we have an independent auditor for our LoSAP, or do we ask BST to do it?
I think BST does it. I think they look at it.
Okay, I'll ask them to double check, but it's not a look at it, it's an audit. It's
Yeah,
LoSAP, we
I
need to
think
do it.
they look at that. Right, Robin? That's part of their audit, correct?
They write it in our financial statements, looking at the point system, and that's one of the things that they're saying they're lacking is the points that were
What they
derived
got-
over the year.
Yeah, no, I saw that email, so that leads me to believe that they do look at it. I've submitted
Right.
that to, we don't have the points, the chiefs have the points. I've given that to the chief. He'll get it back to me quickly, I'm sure. I will then forward it to BST. The second
That's what
question,
that's what they need, the actual report.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll get that from Russell. The second question I had is, we paid $106,000 for our, that was the suggested funding. It's prospective, it's not, looking backwards. And yet the budget for 2020 has budgeted $180,000 for LoSAP.
Yeah.
And I'm
Prior-
wondering why we're not paying the extra $74,000.
They can bill us if that's what we choose to do, is fund more of the LoSAP. Eric, that was his decision last year to put an additional 80,000 in. He thought it was underfunded. So Diane said she would bill us if we decided we want to contribute more based on our budget.
Well, we don't need to bill to contribute more. We're not underfunded. What the trouble comes up is when somebody retires and becomes eligible, we have a choice to make. We can either purchase an annuity, which is expensive at the moment, or we can ask that the retirement benefits be funded out of the Mass Mutual LoSAP fund where the money is sitting. Our actuary suggests that at 70% or below of their suggested funding, we buy the annuity because the Mass Mutual fund may not be able to keep up. We're right now at 79%. So we're in a safe place, but we're not quite there. So are we holding that extra $74,000 back just to see if we make it through the year, or do we want to just fund it now and get ahead of the game? I don't know, but I put it to the board. I wasn't there in October, so I don't know how you came up with the budget.
I don't think personally, I'm just looking at our expenditures. We haven't had any real emergency expenditures to date. It's early in the year. I can ask Diane when we have to have that second check. I think Eric didn't submit it till late last year. So it doesn't have to be done right away and we could wait and see. That's just all I know.
Okay, we're late on that. We paid the first check, but we're late on the re-up. So maybe we'll get another actuarial report we could ask Diane to get another report from the actuary to see where we are and say end of August.
Okay.
With respect to the second question that was brought up under the chief's report, Title IX of the New York Code's Rules and Regulations, Section 210, which provides for enhanced cancer benefits. Apparently, at some point since that passed, I believe in 2017, the board decided to purchase that insurance, but there is an annual reporting requirement. And I looked through all the files that Eric left me. I can find no indication that it was done. And I know Sandra's new, so she's not going to know. Does anybody know if that reporting is being done? It's supposed to be made to the Office of Fire Protection and Control by January 1st of each year, beginning in 2019.
I do not believe it was done in 2020.
Okay, well, we better, and do we have a claim form for those particular benefits that anyone knows about? Because if not, we need to develop one or see if Diane has one.
You mean an invoice?
No, actually, it's a specific claim form that we are required to present to any member who may have contracted cancer that's related. Actually, it doesn't even have to be related to the fire service as long as they have it and they are an active volunteer. Then we're talking about a lot of money. We're talking about $1,500 a month for 3 years. That's $54,000. We're talking about a $50,000 death benefit. We're talking about $6,200 and change for each diagnosis. And we're talking about $25,000 lump sum payment. So I'm glad we have the insurance and we're not deciding to self-insure on this, but I think we need to comply with the reporting requirements.
If you want me to reach out to Eric, I certainly can. I can ask him if he's got a sample on his computer that he filed last year. You know, it's up to.
Well, if you, I mean, I can do it, but I'll forget. So if you don't mind doing it, that'd
Yeah,
be
no,
great.
I don't mind.
That's all I've got. That's my only concerns on insurance.
Okay, Commissioner Hoy and Weddle again on compliance, policy review, and town liaison. I'll just address town liaison. We're going to go ahead and schedule a meeting with the town with respect to the fire hydrants as indicated earlier. Chris, anything on compliance and policy review for now?
No, I think we're good. When we talked last, I wasn't sure about that record retentions policy, but we actually did do that at one point. And so I think we're up to date. I understand from our conversation that there are about 300 or 400 recommended policies out there. I don't think for a department or a district our size, we need to go into the same level of detail that the New York Fire Department has to go into. So I think we're okay. We have procurement, we have record retention, we have bullying, we have the rules and regs, we have, I mean, I think what we have to suit our needs at this juncture, unless somebody disagrees, in which case we'll look at other policies.
Oh, I don't disagree. What I will say is that the recent edition of the Fire District Officers Guidebook has some fantastic templates in there and generic policies and procedures that we can use should we need to do that in the future. So it's good to have those references on hand.
No, I agree with you, and I think historically the board has been reactive to situations, but I don't see a need proactively to heavy hand the membership, if you will.
Could I just ask, are we required to have, because of insurance, like harassment policies and workplace violence policies?
We have a harassment policy and a bullying policy.
Okay.
Okay, moving on to old business. We need to schedule a working session, which is essentially a meeting with respect to the Northern Fire Protection Area. We need to start this dialogue amongst the board, along with the treasurer and the secretary and the chiefs, to determine what the path forward is going to be for providing outstanding fire protection to this area. So what's the pleasure of the board? When would you like to do that?
How long do you anticipate?
an hour to have a discussion, talk about the current status, talk about the way forward, talk about the budgeting issues associated to the fire protection area, talk about the meetings, the meeting that we had with Mount Kisco at the end of the year, and some of the previous meetings that were held even before that. I think it's important that we readdress the situation. I could be wrong, though. It's entirely up to the board.
I think the issue has to be addressed.
It's just a matter of picking a time to do it. I mean,
Correct.
Pick a time.
Date and time. Shall we, Sandra, would you please take that for action? Okay, we're done with that one. Status of audit, please.
So the audit is waiting for the LoSAP point report. And also, Sandra, I had written to you that they would like to see the minutes since they had the audit in January. They could go on the website, but if you don't mind, just emailing them to me if you want, or
I
Jeremy.
definitely, I
Okay.
will. Thank you. I saw your email. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, off topic. Sandra, speaking of minutes, did you get my email with that link?
Oh, I did. The one that talks about everything that had been essentially saved separately going back to 2007.
Yes.
Yes, I did. Thank you for sharing that
Okay.
as well. I appreciate it.
Oak Lane update, please.
So we
Ed?
did receive the check and it's deposited in the bank. There's a small amount that's outstanding, but I believe, Ed, I heard from Lynn that they were going to send a second check.
Moving on, Ed, just again, briefly state what's going on with Oak Lane. You
Yeah,
indicated
well-
they will be paying.
Yeah, they will be paying. They have been paying, and they will, and they agreed to pay everything. Yes.
Excellent, thank you. And anything else on Oak Lane?
Well, we're just waiting for, Lynn Weinig sent them a document that they have to sign. It's kind of a legal thing that any damages or whatever, we're covered. And we're just waiting for their contractor to dig up the pipe, and Joe Montefiori's surveyor has to come in. So, it went slowly because, as you know, there was a lot of snow.
Sure, thank you for that.
Could I just check, Ed, that we don't have, that's not going through us, that billing, right? It's going directly to Oak Lane from the contractor. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Ed.
You're welcome.
New business, we talked about it earlier. Ed's going to go ahead and handle the planning board meeting. Thank you again for that.
You're welcome.
And then correspondence, we had during the month, we had 3 official correspondence. The first one was Tony's letter of resignation that we had to recognize, and we reluctantly accepted it. There was a FOIL by Nancy Zezzi dated February 28th, and we've responded to that FOIL.
The FOIL was not, it was our response that was dated on February 28th.
The response was,
Thank you. The FOIL
Thanks.
was February 9.
got it. The FOIL was February 9th. Thank you, Sandra. And we responded to it on February 28th. And again, Sandra, thank you for all the work on that. Nancy was obligated a response, and she most certainly deserved it as well. And hopefully this satisfies that. And if not, I would urge Nancy to get back to us, and we'll try to get the information that she needs. And then today at approximately 3:33 p.m., we received some questions and comments from Miss Lynn Lambert. We're not prepared at this time to address any of those questions, and we'll take any of her comments for consideration. Having said that, we're going to move into the public comment section here tonight. This is a public meeting of the Board of Fire Commissioners of Newcastle Fire District Number 1. We will now have a public comment period of the meeting. Please state your name and address. Please state as simply as possible what you want the board to consider. This is not a question and answer session. This is part of a public meeting designed to solicit comments from the public. Please do not expect the board to answer any questions, as this time has been reserved for the public to inform the Board of Fire Commissioners about their opinions. So having said that, I just want to limit this to approximately 3 minutes per comment. Last month, we did run over on a very, very important topic. We were talking about the fire alarm, and we had a fantastic conversation with one of the residents of the fire district. Having said that, do we have anyone waiting, Pamela?
Yes, Ms. Lambert has her hand raised.
Oh, thank you. Yes, please invite Ms. Lambert in.
Ms. Lambert, you may unmute yourself.
Thank you. Lynn Lambert, 55 Ridgewood Terrace. I do think this is a matter of great importance. The public comments on the form-based code, the deadline is March 25th. And so I've been asking about it for a few months, but now the town, as you know, I'm sure, has stated that they are going to limit any current zoning changes to the North Greeley corridor. And that at least narrows it. I understood that in the past, you just didn't want to take over the whole 72 acres and try to figure it out. So now they have narrowed it to the North Greeley corridor. And it's a matter of grave concern to me, and I'm sure some other residents, that with all the construction that is going on already, or that has gone on but hasn't been occupied yet, and then what could be built in the North Greeley corridor, that the fire department is certain that they have everything they need in place. And if they don't, please to speak to the town board in the public comments, which I think would be greatly appreciated by the public, about what you think you would need. So waiting till the next meeting isn't going to work, because the door is going to close on those public comments. So although I'm not expecting, because I know it's not appropriate, an answer now, but it is something that I have been asking for a while, and the situation has changed due to the fact that it has finally been narrowed to one section. And if the fire department if the Board of Fire Commissioners don't respond now, they will lose their opportunity to let the public know the impact to our district. So I think it's very important, and I'm concerned. So I'm just curious what the board plans to do about this situation, and hope that it can move quickly enough to get these comments into the public record. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn, very much. We'll consider your comments, and when appropriate, should we need to answer any of those questions, because right now, the way I see it, I'm not speaking for the board right now, there are no requested needs from the fire department. There are no additional resources, and form-based code, as we understand, has not passed. So having said that, anyone else waiting for comment?
No, there's no one else.
Future dates, Ms. Secretary, what do we have for the next date?
Our next meeting is April 8, 7 p.m. via Zoom, unless otherwise posted.
Excellent. Can I just ask all the other commissioners just to arrive maybe 15 minutes early, so we can just go over some paperwork and administrative items?
Sure.
Yeah, that would be very helpful.
Barry, could I just mention that we will need new bank documents? I know we're all familiar with them now.
Oh,
but
yes.
We have a new commissioner, so we'll need new bank documents, and we use the Westchester Bank, and we'll be circulating them as soon as I can get them.
Excellent. So before I close out, anything for the good of the district? Well, welcome aboard, Dwight and Tony. Again, thank you very much. I look forward to seeing you around. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion.
We have a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good night,
Good luck,
everybody.
Dwight.
All right, thank you, everybody.
Welcome aboard, Dwight.
Okay.
Good night.
Thank you all.
Welcome.
night.
Take care.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Hi, Tony.
Night
Bye-bye.
all.
Night all.
Good luck, Tony. Good luck,
Good night.
Dwight.